All right, everybody, welcome. How are you? It's good to have everybody here. I'm just checking the chat and seeing who's active. I know that Shaven had to leave today to go to sleep early to study for a test. That's very smart of you, getting a good night's sleep, waking up early, and having a good breakfast, maybe even exercising, can help you. If we stay physically healthy, drink lots of water, eat lots of healthy foods, it definitely helps our brain too. So, looks like we have lots of familiar faces in the chats, lots of familiar students, premium subscribers. We have Rosa and Chari, we have Luciana, and who else is here today? Leilat, you might be here. I know that you keep your comments usually to yourself and then email me later, and that's fine. But everybody can jump in if they want. Mehdi, hello, how are you? Good to have you here. Let's see, who else is watching? If you're here or if you show up a little bit later, just jump on in and say hello. A little advice to any of you test takers out there. Yes, get a lot of sleep the day before a test. And we studied neurological pathways and neurons and dopamine and some of the chemicals that your brain naturally releases or is chemically released due to intake of a drug or a substance. So part of the intricacies of brain chemistry is that you can your behavior can affect the chemicals that are released in your brain naturally. For example, if you smile or if you laugh, even if it's fake, if you force yourself to laugh, you can release the same chemicals that happen when you naturally laugh. That gives you a natural high of joy and pleasure. So another thing that you can do as a test-taking strategy is, and this is true, your body chemistry changes based on your attitude and your posture. If you're closed off, if you're worried, if you're stressed about taking your test, it does you no good. But if you can take a few minutes, I mean, you can do it in private, in the hallway, out of the classroom, or in the classroom if you're comfortable doing it. Just take deep breaths, stretch, feel comfortable, pose confidently, and know that everything you know already, all the knowledge is already in your mind. So just breathe, and then take your test. And you may find, I found in college, that I performed much better in all of my test taking when I did that. It seems simple and easy, and it is. So why not do it? So get a lot of rest, get some good food for breakfast or exercise, do whatever works for you. Go for a swim if you're somewhere warm. And know that you are all brilliant students, and I have all the faith in the world that you will succeed and do well. So, all right. Thanks for complimenting my laugh. That's very kind of you. Okay. Rosa says, sleep or not, my teachers will bring questions from Venus. Yeah, sometimes the English phrase we would use is out of left field. They will bring questions, or they will give me questions on the exam that are out of the blue or out of left field. Both of those phrases are idiomatic, and out of the blue or out of left field means to come with total surprise. So feel free to use those idioms in your casual language. My friend called me out of the blue. It means it was very unexpected. I did not expect that. My teacher posed an essay prompt it was out of left field. Surprising. It comes with surprise. So, Hannah says it's always stressful taking a test. Yes. So those are strategies outside the classroom that you can do. You absolutely control. Get a lot of sleep, rest, don't be nervous. Breathe deeply. Meditate if you want. Do some yoga. Go for a swim. Do something relaxing, whatever relaxes you. Truthfully, and this is going to sound funny coming from a teacher probably, but study as much as you want And if you wake up in the morning and you have an extra half an hour, how much information are you really going to cram into your brain in half an hour? You can study a little bit, but if you stress out, it may hurt your test score. If something relaxes you, like playing video games or something, if you do that for a short amount of time, just 10 minutes, play some video games, then go study a little bit before the test and be relaxed when you're taking it. It will help you. Hannah failed her test yesterday. I'm so sorry. What was your test in? What subject? And know that failing a test, students are not test scores, and students are not grades. Truthfully, good or bad, your grades ultimately do not matter. What matters is the knowledge that you save in your mind for the rest of your life. So, I know it can be a little bit disheartening, or it can make you feel a little bit sad or depressed if you fail a test or if you don't perform well, but do not let that get you down. Everybody fails tests. Someday, I will tell you guys the story of me failing a test. It's a good story, but we'll save it for now because we have a wonderful class to teach. So you've tuned into English for academic purposes, and we are going to look at a draft of an essay. So we've studied APA formatting. We've studied how to begin our essay, how to brainstorm, how to create a strong outline, how to think about theses and general statements, how to do research and find credible sources. We've done all this, and some of you, your premium subscribers, have written your essays and submitted them to me. If you haven't, please get that to me soon. If you have, know that I'm making your corrections, and we'll get those back to you soon, okay? Hannah says her test was in writing. Well, guess what? We're gonna practice writing today. So we will give you tools and strategy to be successful next time. So don't worry, Hannah. We're in it together, and as your teacher, I am happy to help you improve your writing skills, okay? All right, Kem is here as well. Hello, Kem, how are you? Is it pronounced Kem or Jem? If it's Turkish, it might be Jem. So let me know. I want to pronounce your name correctly. All right, Abood says hi. Hello, welcome. And let's see. Karen is here as well. Hi, Karen. Good to have you. Okay, so I'm going to go to our lesson here. And you'll see that this is what we were working on. We were working on the effects. Our topic for our essay is the effects of immigration on labor, specifically to the topic of labor in Canada and the effects of immigration on that. We are, Sumaya, hello, good to have you in class, welcome. We are looking at this topic, and this is a crafted essay. This is an essay that the outline was basically set up for us. We're kind of filling in the blanks. It's kind of like a cloze test where words are missing from a paragraph and we have to identify and put in those words. We're basically doing the same thing but with paragraphs. So we know the topic of our paragraph and we're going to simply insert our ideas from research, and we know where we are going to research. These are our sources. They've already been outlined for us. Now normally, in an academic English class, 101 in university or college. Jose, welcome. Glad to have you here. Jem, okay. Glad to have your name pronunciation. Thank you. Happy to have you, Jem. And Reed is here as well. Hi, you're new. Welcome. First time in class? Awesome. Happy to have you. And if you have any questions, just ask us in the chat. Always happy to have a new student. All right, all right, I want to get on all these stories in the chat, but let's focus on the writing strategies here. So we have this like plug and play essay. Everything's outlined for us, our resources, we've learned APA, we're ready to go. So we created our outline, and then we started with writing the essay. So we're going to follow these steps. This is our rough draft. This is the first go round. And then we're going to look at this, make some corrections, and submit a second draft. So this is the first step to correcting any opportunity for improvement, correcting errors to take opportunity for improvement. And then we're going to submit our final essay. So that is going to go through next week, and then we're going to be done with writing for a little while, take a small break. But we're going to continue with writing this week and next week. As a preview of our schedule to come, I want to let you guys know now, I'll remind you each class, but the week after the 25th, so I think it's like the when is it? The 26th through the 30th, we have a small break from class. That Tuesday and Thursday, I will not be here. But we will start a brand new topic the next week, which will be a brand new year. That'll be the new year. So again, I'll remind you of that later on, but writing this week, finishing writing next week, and then a small break. Okay, you are welcome, Hannah, of course. And you're welcome, Raid. Is it Raid or Raid? Go ahead and let me know. So one of our lovely, amazing students who is in every class, I think, we all know her, and from the Facebook page, commenting all the time, Rosa, of course. Hi, Rosa. Happy to have you as a student. You're so wonderful. Has been kind enough to give me permission to use her essay in this class. So this is her rough draft. She thinks it's terrible, but it's not. I promise you, it's good writing. It's a good rough draft. That's the point of a rough draft. They are rough. And the word rough, by definition, is not polished, not smooth. It is meant to be rough. I love mistakes in rough drafts when my students turn them in because they are opportunities. They're opportunities for us to improve our writing, to make it better. And I can promise you this, the best writers in the world, the people who write novels or publish academic papers that scientists all over the world read. Stephen Hawking, for example, writes rough drafts. The first thing that they write is not perfect, and it's not something they turn in. We all will make mistakes in our rough draft. We just try not to, but we will. And even if it's not an overt mistake, like a spelling error or grammar error, sometimes the way we choose to write something the first time, we find or think of a better way when we give it a little bit of time. So we write our rough draft, and then we wait for a little while. We go back, read it, and we will always see opportunity for improvement. So I want to be very clear about that. It's important that our rough draft, our first attempt at writing it, is not what we turn in. We have to write it, give it a little time, little space, come back to it, and revise it. Make edits, make it stronger. That's the whole point. So we're doing the right thing here. Okay, so just checking the comments here in the chat. Selma, hello, happy to have you here. Welcome, good to have you. Raid, okay, got your name, good. All right. Luciana says, everything I write in a rough draft remains a rough draft. Sometimes it feels that way. And it is important that we dedicate the time to editing our drafts. So let's take a look at Rosa's paper, since she's so kind in offering it up to us to look at as a class. So this is what it looks like when a student shares a paper with me. They create a Google Doc, and then they can make comments over here. I can reply to those comments. See, I'm just going to say you're awesome there, so you can see what a comment reply looks like. And then we discuss. As a premium subscriber, you get that. You get my feedback on your essays and discussions and dialogues about how to make our writing stronger. So I'm going to look at this essay just from the top bottom. We're going to read through it together, and we're going to talk about strengths, what's strong about it, and then opportunities for improvement, because it's a rough draft, and that's what we do. So thank you again, Rosa, for sharing this. It's really important, and I very much appreciate that. So let's see here. The outline of the essay. So we have 5 paragraphs, right? The first paragraph is our introduction paragraph. It gives us the general topic of the essay, which we know, is the effects of immigration on labor and the labor shortage in Canada. So we start out with a hook, a sentence that is meant to grab our attention. At the time, governments are looking for solutions to the increase of unemployment in their countries. Canada is creating programs to stimulate foreign skilled workers as a solution for its labor shortage. Good job, Rosa. The correct possessive pronoun there, it's. That's a common thing that students can sometimes have trouble with. So this is two independent clauses. I'm not going to separate them with a comma. Oh, actually, at the time, governments. Yeah, so we have at the time, that's our, and the time. So it is a determiner that is specific, the. We are trying to be specific. If we want to make it current, actually, I might say at this time. At this time. Governments are looking for solutions to increase the unemployment in their countries. Solutions to the increase of unemployment in their countries. Semicolon here, because it's two independent clauses. Canada is creating programs to stimulate foreign skilled workers as a solution for its labor shortage. So this is nice. It's a good hook saying problem, potential solution. So I like it. Jem says, how can you send an essay to me? If you want to send an essay to me, I just need you to sign up as a premium subscriber, and you can do it free for a month if you want. That login is smartenglish.com/live. I think it's /live/live. I should have it memorized by now. Yes. So I'm going to put that email in the chat right now, Jem, and you can check it out. Rosa says punctuation again. No problem. Punctuation, mechanics, it's something you learn in time. I don't always use commas correctly. Even teachers can make mistakes sometimes. That's why we have rough drafts of things that we write. So your next sentence and sentences should be outlining the three supporting paragraphs, the three body paragraphs that you're going to talk about. Now, we talked about what these body paragraphs are going to be. The cause of the labor shortage, the positive effects, and the negative effects. That's going to comprise our three body paragraphs, or our three body paragraphs will be comprised of those ideas. So, put that right there. So those are the three things we want to outline. Now you can do that in one sentence or three sentences, or any combination. So Rosa does say, the problem, that's right, the problem was triggered by different reasons and led to negative and positive effects on Canada's economic, social, and cultural aspects. That's a great sentence, Rosa. In one sentence, you outlined the three body paragraphs that we're going to include in this essay. So this, actually you don't want a full stop there if you say a problem that was triggered, because you're, like an adjective clause, you're defining the shortage, that shortage. However, since this is already two independent clauses separated by a semicolon, I'm going to just alter your sentence a little bit. And I'm going to say, this problem was. We're just going to make the problem the subject of the sentence. This problem was triggered by different reasons. I'm going to change this word to causes, because you used the word triggered, so we can use the noun causes. Was triggered by different causes and led to negative and positive effects on Canada's economic, social, and cultural aspects. Great, that's excellent. So Rosa did make a comment here, and she said, you're welcome, Jim, no problem. She said, I believe in her comments, that I haven't created my thesis sentence yet. Now, this is actually something very important I want to talk about with everyone. What Rosa is doing is perfect in simply saying, I don't know my thesis. I'm writing my introduction paragraph. Many students believe they have to know their thesis in the introduction paragraph. And there's a lot of different ways to write an essay, and every single writer is going to have their own process and method and style. But I can tell you that as a writer, for me, writing the introduction paragraph is the last thing I do. And this is because the purpose of the introduction paragraph is to introduce the rest of the essay. And I have a hard time as a writer introducing something that I don't know yet, right? Imagine, this is your first time, right? I think it's your first time in class, right? So you haven't met me. We don't know each other yet. But if we went to a party, how would you introduce me? This is some teacher guy, It would be very difficult for you to introduce me because you don't know anything about me yet, right? Whereas Selma, Rosa, Luciana, you guys have been in enough classes that you know I'm a big dork who sometimes wears a top hat and has a beard or not. You know these silly little facts about me, so if we went to a party, you could introduce me a little more easily. Oh, this is Joshua. He's a crazy, dorky, nerdy teacher who we laugh at, right? It's easier to introduce something that you have knowledge of. So it's the same thing here. You can save your introduction paragraph for later and then just put it at the top, put it in the beginning after you're done with everything else. That's my personal strategy. It doesn't mean you have to write that way, but if you're struggling with creating the introduction paragraph or the thesis, maybe wait and write it last. Start with your first body paragraph. What is your first point? You know the general direction you're going, especially with an essay like this, where it's outlined for you. You guys are very sweet. So in this essay, we know what our body paragraphs are going to be. We know it's going to talk about the cause of the problem. We know it's going to talk about the positive effects, the negative effects. We know these things. So we can just start out with the first body paragraph and start talking about the cause. So what is the cause? In Rosa's essay, she says, over the last few decades, low birth rate and aging population begat labor shortage in Canada and introduced challenges to the government as it led to enormous consequences on its economy. Okay, lots of good academic words there. Begat is an archaic term for the most part. It's not a common verb. It's not bad. You can use it. It's just, it's not highly common. I probably wouldn't choose to use it, so you might consider rewording there. But this is an introduction sentence to our first body paragraph. She gives us a time frame over the last few decades, and then starts to talk about the causes. Up here in the introduction paragraph, Rosa said it was triggered by different causes. Here we're talking about the causes. The last few decades, during this time, aging population, it introduced challenges to the economy. So then Rosa is going to defend this with statistics, with numbers. And I'm going to point this out. The fertility rate in Canada has rapidly plummeted from a high of 3.9 children per woman in 1959 to 1.9 in 1979 and continued at this rate for coming years. Okay, so this here is a statistic, okay? This is what teachers look for in your essays. They look for data like numbers, okay? Anytime we use a specific number like this, dates, percentages or proportions, 3.9 children per woman. This is a proportion. This is a statistic. This data comes from somewhere, and we have to know where it comes from. Otherwise, we're going to ask the student, where did you get this? Are you just making this up? Let me check the data here. Selma says, what does begat mean? Begat means it's like a creation term. It's an effect or a result or a creation. So the see, I have a hard time even coming up with an example sentence because it's not a common word, but violence begets violence. There you go, right? Violence creates more violence. So that's how you might use it. Raid likes the argument. I agree. Carla's comment on the Facebook group. Yeah, Rosa. And like I said, it's not a bad term or an ineffective verb. It's fine. I just always want to point out to everyone, anytime I see a word that I feel is unusual, I'm going to point it out. You can use it. Absolutely. Totally fine in an academic essay. Go for it. But I like to point out when words are less common, just because my goal as a teacher of English is to provide you with effective, everyday, functional English. You guys are going to have better vocabulary probably than your average American because you're focusing on it. We just learn it sort of naturally from being immersed in the environment. You guys get this huge diction under your belts once you study academic vocabulary especially. So it is fine, and it is, I would say it is an academic word, but it's also an archaic word. It's an old word that we see in very old writing or the Bible. So it's just less common, but people know what it means, so you can use it. It's fine. Okay. Fernando, hello. Welcome to the group. Glad to have you. Okay. So what I was saying before is these statistics, we have to cite them. This source had to come from somewhere. So if you could tell us, Rosa, let's see if you created, you're so wonderful. You created your reference list. So we want to see which reference this came from, because yes, you do need to cite this source in the citation, in-text citation, because it is a statistic. So you suspected correct. All right. So which source, if you could tell me, Rosa, which source that came from? Let's see if I can tell just from the titles of the article. Sometimes you can tell if it said something like, okay, probably this one, aging population, right? So it's my guess, I'm just going to guess here, that this is the article where it came from. So it was written in 2012. Let's check this source really quick. So here's where we find the information. Here's the title of the article. The title of the website is Department of Finance Canada or Government of Canada. And it looks like it comes from an article written in 2012. And there's no author written here that I can see. So I'm going to go back to our APA citations, see all these statistics, this information. It's available, and someone can reference this. If I'm looking at Rosa's essay, I can see where she got this information. And I can verify this. I can say, yeah, her argument is strong because she has good, reliable information here. I'm just scrolling down to see if I can see any sort of author or title, and it might be in here. I'm really not going to spend a ton of time because I care more about you being able to cite correctly and do your own research correctly. So we're just going to go over examples here. This is what an in-text citation should look like. So we have our references here. Here's an example, LA Times article. We use for in-text citation parentheses within the sentence, so inside the punctuation, and I'll tell you what I mean there in a second, with the author last name and the year of publication. So this one is, it's not an author, it's the title or the entity that created the article. Here's another author name, Dressel. Mims. Here's a group or a company. And then Taylor could be a name. Here is another company, KPBS San Diego, so that's probably a news outlet or maybe a radio show, something like that. So let's let's see what we do here. This is from curricula that we've studied, the English for Academic Purposes curriculum that premium subscribers have access to. This is in Unit 4, 4-2A, and it's APA reference guidelines. So here is what the web page looks like, web page citation. So you use this format for essentially every website that you want to cite. And let's just look, I don't think this is a real article, I think it's just created for this, yeah. If this is the website, I can tell you what all this information is from using citations and reading academic papers. This is the author, so B. Smith. You use author's last name, comma, space, first initial, and a period. And then in parentheses, you write the date, and then another period. So you start with the year, in this case 2010, comma, month, space, number, day. So here, this was written October 5th, 2010. If there's no day, sometimes articles will only have the month. You just leave it off. Put the parenthesis after the month and the period. And then this is the article title. Article title, stuff I like to write when I'm sleeping. It's just a fake article title that was created for this purpose. But that's the article title. This is the title of the website where the article was published. So as we look back at this page that Rosa cited and that was available on our curricula website, the website is a governmental website, Canadian website, and it's the Government of Canada, and it's the Department of Finance Canada. So the article title is Economic and Fiscal Implications of Canada's Aging Population. So this part that I've highlighted right here, this relates to this section here in our citation, okay? So again, this article title is this section of the citation. The title of the website, the Department of Finance Canada, that would go right here where it says Dreaming Stuff. So hopefully you're picking up on what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to show you the website, what it actually looks like, and then what you write in your reference page. So we go back to Rosa's essay, and we see here she has the author or the entity that wrote it, the date, and then the article title. And I know that our previous lesson had showed to italicize that. We're not going to worry about italicizing that. And then retrieve from and the website. So good job. That's wonderful. So what we would do here in the in-text citation is we want to include the entity that wrote it and the year. So again, here, if we have a web page that has no date, so we do have the date here. We have 2012, but if it had no date, we would simply write N period D period, no date. That is the abbreviation. Deadly Calm, hello, how are you? You say you mentioned this channel to your English teacher. Awesome, I hope they check it out. Or email me or say hi, that's great. Fernando, send a kiss to your daughter Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca, mwah, for you, for Fernando. And then Raid, you said cite this for me is a cite for a citation. Very funny, I like that. Okay, so back to citations. If you have no author, what do? You use the title of the website, of the entity. So when we saw these examples here, I remember the last one, KPBS San Diego. So that's the organization or the entity. So for example, if my college here, Spokane College of English Language, where I'm the director in the United States, in Washington State, Spokane, if my college collaborated on building something, on making curricula or publishing something, we might publish it under our name, Spokane College of English Language. That's exactly what we do with some of the curricula that we create. I can show you, in fact, an example. So I am a person, I am a writer, I write these things, build this curricula, but I publish it collaboratively with other educators, other teachers. Here you see English for Health Sciences. This is a project we worked on. We built curriculum that helps students who want to study in the medical field. You can see right here, English for Health Sciences 125 by the Spokane College of English Language. That's this college right here where I'm teaching at. So if I published under this, when I cite this, it would be cited as our organization if I wanted to cite that curricula. So we would put the entity, the college, as the author. Now, if I wrote that all by myself and I published it under my name, we would put my name. We'd put Porter, which is my last name. Okay, Jem says he has to go and he'll try to follow our lesson again. Okay, come back later. You can always watch the videos later online. Happy to meet you, Jem. Come back anytime. Have a good day, okay? All right. So, Rosa, back to your essay. You did a good job of citation. So what do we want to do for this in-text citation that we're looking at? Back to Rosa's essay. So the entity that wrote this, because there's no author name, is the Department of Finance in Canada. The year was 2012. So we just go back up to Rosa's writing. Okay, we have this great statistic she included, and we want to cite it. We want to say where we got this information. So I'm going to copy the entity and the year with a comma between. Oops. Okay, 2012 and parenthesis. Now it's perfect. Now this has been cited. You can see right here, the fertility rate in Canada has rapidly plummeted from a high of 3.9 children per woman in 1959 to 1.7 in 1979 and continued at this rate for coming years. And then the citation. Now, if you're ever reading academically out loud in class, I'm going to give you a little advice. Generally, when you read out loud, you don't actually read the citations. You just read over them. So you would read this and then just jump right into, for this reason, the rate of elderly to the working age population is soaring. And good sentence, by the way, Rosa, soaring. I love that. It's a little creative, it's engaging, good writing, good job. All right, so moving down, Rosa is giving us the causes, which is perfect for her first body paragraph after her introduction. And Rosa's question in the chat is, I thought we only cite quotations. We cite quotations and facts, even if they're paraphrased. So let's think about it. This information, the fertility rate in Canada plummeting from 3.9 in 1959. Now, if I'm your professor and I am checking your facts to make sure your sources are credible, reliable, and I go to this article to find that information, all I have to do is Control F and search for 3.9 right here. The fertility rate in Canada has rapidly decreased from a high of 3.9, blah, 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 to 1979, and has stayed close to this level ever since. So this sentence here, looking back at Rosa's essay, right? This sentence here, and continued at this rate for the coming years, okay? So we have this sentence and this sentence, and has stayed close to this level ever since. So this part, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so you can see. Let's get to that statistic again. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. Sorry about that. There we go. So this sentence here, the fertility rate in Canada has rapidly decreased from a high, blah, 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 blah. all the way to 1979. This is exactly the same as what Rosa wrote, which is totally fine as long as we cite it. We have to put that citation. If I am your teacher, your professor, and I am going to look at your essay, and I find this, I'm going to do some research. I'm going to say, okay, these are statistics. These are facts. I want to know where this information came from. And if there was no citation, I would just do a search online. There are a lot of tools online, like plagiarism checkers, where if you didn't cite this, if you did not include this information right here, Department of Finance in Canada 2012, and also this information down here, Department of Finance, and the website and where I found this information, your teacher could come to you and say, look, you've plagiarized your essay. You have this sentence in there that I know you copied from online, and I'm going to give you a 0 for your essay. That could happen in an academic university. That's what plagiarism is. And you might not do it on purpose. You might just not be familiar with citations and do it on accident. So it's really, really important that we cite this. So I cannot stress enough how important it is, Rosa, to, and all students, of course, to cite this, to put this citation in here. It's very important. Okay? So, and Rosa knows what she's doing because she, of course, said, am I supposed to cite this? This is what we're doing. We're learning. Lost, and we are, okay. No one can lie with technology. You're right, Rosie, it's true. In fact, let me just show you really quickly here. This is one tool that teachers use, but there's tons of these online available to us. This is a plagiarism checker. So this is something your teacher might do. So you get to see a little bit on the teacher end of things. Let's say Rosa turned in this essay and it's beautiful and well written, and then I see these statistics and I think, oh, this had to come from somewhere. So I will copy the text, and you can usually just do a Google search and find it right away. Okay, so there's some demographic rates, and there we go, fertility rate, some other numbers. So it doesn't pop up right away, but I can go to a tool like this plagiarism checker and check the text. Let's see if it's quick enough to do this really quick. Here's another one. There's a bunch of these online, and some are easier to use than others. I don't want to go through all these steps right now, but basically what it'll do is I'll do a search, and then that will pop up, and it will show me where the information was found. So you're right, Rosa. It's tough to copy something when there's so much technology out there to find information, both for students and teachers. You can't forget your teachers have the same access to internet and everything that you do, and they probably have been doing it a lot longer. So my advice is just cite your sources, do your own papers, write your own writing, and you won't run into any trouble, I promise. Okay, so you do also cite quotations, though. If somebody says something on a website, you quote it, even if your friend says something. So I'm going to show an example here. Rosa's sentence that she wrote in the chat right now says, I thought we only cite quotations. So if I am writing an essay about students and teaching and all that good stuff, well, I'm going to need to quote Rosa if I want to use her words. So let's pretend I'm writing an essay here, okay? I would say, first paragraph, today I'm gonna, no. That would be a bad example. Let's say today I'm in class and I'm writing an essay on the crafting of an essay, very meta. I might say, most students must learn writing skills skills slowly and build their acumen over a long period of time. Okay? Sorry, typing fast there. And then I want to use Rosa's quote. So if I'm in APA format, if it's MLA, I'll use quotations. If it's APA, I could say one student stated that let's see, I thought we cite only quotations. Okay, so that was her sentence. APA, we would quote it. We would quote it like this. You'll also see this type of quotation in journalism, right? Newspapers. We can quote a different way too, though. We can just simply use the sentence. It is often apparent that good writers are still learning all the rules. So here, okay, we're pretending our chat is a website, and we're using Rosa's sentence here. Most students must learn writing skills slowly and build their acumen over a long period of time. It is often apparent that good writers are still learning all the rules. I thought we cite only quotations. And then Rosa's last name and the date. This is what a citation would look like if you're quoting your friend or someone like that, which is possible if we're doing an essay on, you know, a personal narrative or something like that. So that's what it would look like. Nova, hi. Hello, welcome. All right, so back to the essay. Any questions about that APA citation or format or how we craft that? Do you guys have questions about that? If so, put it in the chat. Rosa says we don't use quotations in APA. Yes, we do not generally. I'll have to check and see if there's exceptions to that. To my knowledge, APA does not use quotations in the citations. They use, the stylistics of APA are parentheses, parenthetical citation in text, and then citations at the bottom right here. So those are the two ways we cite in APA. Jo says, when I become a member, can I choose the schedule of the 2 one-hour lessons? You can choose between schedules for different teachers in different classes, but you don't dictate when it airs. For example, if you're like, hey, I want you to have a class at this time. The classes are always at set times, but you do get to choose when it, or which class you get to attend. So if you want this class, it's always at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So 1430 Pacific Standard Time. So Nova says, sorry, I just got here. What's the subject? We're just ending Nova. I'm sorry, but the subject is writing, academic writing. We're looking at a rough draft essay. You can watch the video later on if you want, and you can review. And then if you want, you can be here at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday, which will be our next class. So Rosa, what do you mean by know? You wrote know, as in knowledge. What is it you're talking about? I just want to be sure. So, oh, Nova, sad face. It's okay. It's a video. You can watch it later. And you can be here next class. We'll be waiting for you. Everybody cheer on Nova and say, hey, hope to see you Thursday. Hannah says, when we put the word of the website or some sentence, if it's more than one sentence, how do we identify the person or the web's exact word from the whole paragraph? Hannah, that is a great question, and I definitely want to answer that. but we're gonna have to wait till next class. For multiple line citation or multiple sentence citation, let's talk about that next class, which is this Thursday. Oh, you just forgot the word in your previous sentence. I understand now. Okay. Good job, Rosa. You're always correcting yourself and looking for improvements, so good job. And thank you again. Seriously, I can't thank you enough for being willing to share your essay here, share your writing with YouTube and everybody else. You're a great writer. I love reading student essays, so thank you so much. Truly, this is good writing. I always tell my students every quarter I teach, I can promise you only one thing, really. I make very few promises in my life because if you make few promises, you don't have to worry about breaking them. So if I promise someone something, it is very serious and I take it very seriously. And I promise my students I will never lie to them, ever. I think that is the worst thing a teacher could do. I'm never gonna say, oh, this is great when it's really not. I'm also not gonna be mean, but if your writing is not perfect or not good, I'm going to tell you because it's the only way that you will improve, right? If no one ever told me that my writing needed work or needed improvement, I never would have become a better writer. So please know, when I say that your writing needs work or a word is incorrect, it is. Also know that when I say that your writing is good and that it genuinely has a lot of substance and it's good writing that can become something great, know that that also is true, okay? So, happy to give corrections, and yes, we will, again, Hannah, remind me if I forget for any reason on Thursday to talk about multiple sentence citations. And if it's okay, Rosa, we'll go through some more of your essay. But what I want from premium subscribers, please, since you guys get the homework and the fun stuff, I would like you guys to edit your essays. I'm gonna give you comments and feedback. I'm not gonna make corrections for you in your essays. So if there is a correction, I'm simply going to comment on it. I did this correction for you in class because I wanted to show the whole class. But for an example, Rosa had a comma here. We need a semicolon or a period. It's your choice, actually. But what I would do for a normal premium subscriber, just correcting their homework, I'd make a comment here and I'd say, sometimes I'll just say you need a semicolon, or sometimes I will say something like, this punctuation needs fixed. What do you think is wrong? And I'm purposely not telling you what is wrong because I want you to think about it. I want you to look at it and see if you can identify the error. So if I say that, if I make a comment here and I say, punctuation error, okay? What I hope happens here is I make the comment of punctuation error, and then this is Rosa's essay, so she can look at it and she can say, oh, okay, punctuation error, let's see. I'll click here, it shows me where it is. What is wrong here? And maybe you will be able to guess or understand what is wrong. You'll say, oh yeah, okay, it's a semicolon, fixed. Or maybe you will not know, so you will say, Josh, or Joshua, what is the problem? Okay, I don't understand. And then we can have a conversation about it so that you can get there. And I will explain more and more. So if I ever make a comment or don't make a comment and just simply say there's an error, it's to try to help you, find and identify problems in writing. Because I have to be able to identify my own problems in the future in my writing when I'm doing my self-correction and my rough draft, second draft, and final draft. So that is my advice. Rosa, I hate punctuation too. It's very difficult sometimes. Hannah says, how much is the monthly payment for being a premium subscriber? All that information is here on the Smrt Live class sign up, but the first month is free, totally free. So you can sign up and there's no obligation. You can do it for a month, no charge, and then if you don't like it, you can cancel. It's super easy. So just go to that link, check it out, look at the classes. It has all the prices and all the schedules and what you get out of it. And of course, if you have questions, email Zach at smartenglish.com, SMRT English.com. There's his email there in the chat. And we'll be back on Thursday to discuss more writing. Seriously, everyone, thank you so much. I really had a good time. You guys are so sweet and kind of crazy. Maybe you need your eyes checked. Yeah, crazy handsome teacher. Way too nice. Come on. And Fernando, I hope your daughter had fun. If you and her are watching together, that's awesome. Jem, if you're watching this later, I know you had to go, but thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And Shevin, hello, hi. If you watched this whole video, good for you. You're awesome. I hope you did well on your test. Raid, thank you for being here. Luciana, as always. Karen, Hannah, thank you. You guys are so great. Jao, thank you. Jose, if you're still here, you guys are really, really awesome. I'm so happy to have you here and so lucky to be your teacher. Oh my gosh, I have the best class in the world. Mohammed, thank you for being here. Rosa, have a wonderful day also, okay? I'm gonna have your corrections for you in just like 5 minutes, all right? And I'm gonna respond to your email too, so thank you for that. And yes, you guys are great. Chari, thank you so much. You're so awesome. Thanks for always being here. All right, Jose is still here. You're welcome very much. All right, I gotta go for now. I gotta do some corrections for premium subscribers, but thanks again. Show up on Thursday. I'll be here at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 14:30 if you do the 24-hour clock. And we'll see you guys then. Thanks again, and have a great day. You guys are truly, truly awesome, amazing students. I'm a very, very lucky teacher, so thanks for that. All right, I gotta go. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.